We're going to go ahead and get started because I've only got 20 minutes and I've got a lot of material to cover. My name is Mike Morrell. I'm part of the SAP S4HANA team. And my primary goal today is to convince you that you need to get off ECC and move to S4. And what I want to do is share a lot of the different tools that we at SAP have made available for you, as well as talk a little bit about what we're doing with Microsoft. We've got some new partnerships that we've just announced, and I want to share a little bit of details about that and then point you to some sessions where you can get a little bit more detail on that. So all SAP sessions these days pretty much start with this diagram, because a big piece of our mantra and a big piece of where we think most companies need to go is this intelligent enterprise paradigm. What that means is that you've got to think about how you're going to build your customer experience in a more successful way, how you're going to build tools into your applications so that you can have a better understanding of what's happening in real time and be able to respond more quickly so that you can build more effective customer experiences. And then also on the operations side, what kinds of tools and technologies are happening in these new applications so that you can change the way that you do business. So again, we believe that intelligent enterprise is where most companies need to go, because this is what's going to give you the flexibility to change your business models and react more quickly to changing customer needs. And because of that, we believe that S4HANA is pretty much the foundation that most companies need to be thinking about if they're going to move to this journey of the intelligent enterprise. You can see some of the values here, but the key thing is that as you move off of ECC onto S4, a lot of things change. Okay, the business processes change a little bit. We've really taken a look at what of our experience across 30,000 customers around the world over the last 40 years and have built those into the new application. We've really taken a look at embedding analytics across the whole application so people can get better insights more quickly, faster, and be able to respond to those. And then, of course, we've also built a lot of new intelligent capabilities into the application, like machine learning, digital assistance, robotic process automation, blockchain, those kinds of technologies that people are now looking to be able to take advantage of in their applications and be able to respond more quickly and more effectively. So intelligent enterprise is where we think people need to go to be able to be successful and competitive in the future. And S4HANA is pretty much the starting point and the foundation for an intelligent enterprise. Okay. So a lot of people that come to me and they say, so you've got this product called S4HANA. What's the big deal with HANA? Why is that different than what it used to be with ECC? And why is this an underpinning and a foundation for S4HANA in the first place? So most of you understand the whole idea of an in-memory database. We've had about 10 years where S4HANA has been developed, so it's getting to the point where it's very mature, but the net of here, and I don't want to dwell on this, is we're changing the way the data is managed so that you're going from a very complicated environment to a relatively simple, real-time environment, and there are some implications in terms of how that's going to affect your move from ECC to S4. Mostly in a positive way, but it does have some implications. So it's important to know that you're truly going to a different kind of database, a different way of managing your data, and that's going to have implications in terms of the kinds of things that you need to do, okay, as you think about moving. Okay. There are some very key benefits to moving to an in-memory database, which is what all of the new SAP technologies, all the new applications are built on. You can see them here. There's benefits from a business perspective, but there's also benefits from a technology perspective. So again, we think that if you're going to move to the intelligent enterprise, you're going to do it with an ERP system like S4HANA, and it needs to be built on a database that is going to be able to take advantage of all these new technologies that we're building into these applications. Okay. Last pitch before I go on to some of the tools that were available is, again, if you look at what ECC provides you and you start comparing to the kinds of capabilities that we feel you're going to need as you move into this intelligent enterprise era, ECC basically won't do it for you. You absolutely have to be able to move to S4HANA to be able to build this foundation. And you can see here some of the value associated with that. Okay, so how do I get started? This is something that most people are struggling with, is what is the process to really understand the value I'm going to get and what I need to be able to be thinking about. So let me start at the end, okay, and then I'll work up to how we get there. There's really two ways to get from ECC to S/4HANA, and you can see them here. There's a new implementation where you're truly starting from scratch. You're taking the S/4HANA as a shell and loading that with your information, okay? And you've got a system conversion, and we've got tools that allow you to go from ECC to S/4HANA with, it's maybe not quite as simple as a flip of a switch, but relatively straightforward, relatively simple. Now, the value to a conversion, okay, is that it's quick and easy, okay, and simple to understand, okay. The downside to that is that you're ending up with the same environment that your ECC was. So if you had 10 ECC versions, you're going to end up with 10 S4 versions. And so a lot of people are going to a conversion because they want to be able to have this quick, simple, fast kind of implementation as a starting point. But a lot of people are looking at new implementations because they want to be able to look at, okay, how do I consolidate my ERP systems? Do I have challenges associated with all the differences across my organization as it relates to the way that I've configured ECC over the years, and that's causing problems in my business? We think that most customers are going to start with a conversion, okay? And that because of the simplicity, because of the tools that we've made available. But as you start thinking about what is going to be the best way for me to move from ECC to S4, I need to be thinking about sort of the business pieces of it and what that means as far as the kind of effort that I want to be able to put into it and what I want when the dust settles. So let's talk a little bit about this conversion process. We talk at SAP a lot about the intelligent enterprise. If you go to a show like Sapphire, which is our primary show, you see intelligent enterprise there everywhere. It's absolutely our mantra. It's absolutely where we think people need to go. Okay. However, when we start talking to our customers, most customers do not necessarily want to go from where they are today on a basic ECC system to the intelligent enterprise environment in one fell swoop immediately. We find that actually a relatively low percent are actually going to actually start with this. Most customers are going to take it in steps. They're going to go to this new enterprise core, which is basically taking the old ECC system and move them to S4. And then as business needs, as you get experience with this new enterprise core, you can then take incremental chunks to be able to get to the intelligent enterprise, which really needs to be your final destination. So the first sort of myth that I want to get away from is that you don't need to go from ECC to the intelligent enterprise in one step. Okay, we don't think that that's necessarily something that many customers are going to do. I think our latest analysis is probably is a 5 to 10% max number of customers that will take this long leap. Okay, and that most of our customers will take an incremental step, and I want to emphasize that this makes it a lot easier for you, a lot less risky, and there's a lot less moving parts. Okay, so think about this as part of the evaluation process that you need to go through, okay, as you're deciding what is going to be the best way for me as a company to be able to move from ECC to S4. Okay, so when we think about planning your journey and what has to happen, we typically think of these 3 steps, okay? And the first step is about making your case, okay? And so what we've done is, because many customers come to us and they say, okay, I understand that I need to move to S4. We've got a statement out there that basically says we're going to stop supporting ECC in 2025, so there is absolutely a clock ticking, but it's not a tomorrow. Okay, it's about 5 to 6 years from now. So what we've done is we've developed a set of relatively sophisticated tools that allow our customers to take a look at different aspects of this move and be able to socialize these different aspects with other parts of their organization. So the first one is called Business Scenario Recommendations, and this is actually, I would say, probably the #1 tool that if you walk away from this meeting that you think, BSR, I need to be able to take a deeper look at BSR. What BSR does is, and it's available to any SAP customer on a maintenance agreement for free. Okay, so this is not something that you need to pay SAP for. And what it does is it takes a look at your current ECC environment, the business processes that you are running today on ECC. It looks at your industry, okay, and it looks at it from the context of the LOB. Okay, so are you in finance? Are you in supply chain? Are you in manufacturing? Okay, and it does an analysis and comes back to you and says, based on what you're running in ECC today, and based on the industry that you are in today, okay, and based on industry norms in your industry, this is how you're doing against other peers in your industry, and this is what we think you're going to benefit as you move from ECC to S4. So it's a tool, very detailed, specific to you, specific to your industry, that will quantify by functional area within your organization what you're going to get from S4. You can use this tool to be able to go to your business counterparts and help them understand why they should move. Okay, so very important, BSR. The second tool, called Transformation Navigator, is another tool that goes in, looks at your environment from a business perspective, what functions you are running today, and gives you an analysis on what functions you're going to want to move to in S4. So the first one is why buy, BSR. The second tool is what buy, okay? And then the last tool, called SAP Readiness Check, is a tool that we've developed that takes a look at your business processes and does an analysis on what kinds of business processes you're going to need to change the standard business processes in S4 to be able to move and map what you had in ECC. So in a net is, what are the custom processes that I have in ECC that I'm going to have to move to S4? Now, if you ask customers what is their highest level of apprehension about moving from ECC to S4, by and large, it's going to be my custom processes. Okay, that is what, in general, hold an awful lot of our customers back from actually making this first move. So I want to dispel a couple of myths here as well. What we find when we do these analyses is that 65% of customized processes haven't been used in the last 3 years. Okay, so even though maybe they've been developed over the last 20, high probability that maybe they're no longer even being used. Okay, so you can take 65% of this customization and say, not going to need it anymore. Okay, so now you say, okay, so look at that 35%, okay, and you say, of this 35%, what do I really need? And again, what we have found in working with our current customers is that of that 35%, maybe a third of it, okay, are custom processes that truly are providing value to the organization and are truly give you a competitive advantage. So myth number 3 that I'd like to dispel is all of your custom processes are going to have to move with you from ECC to S4. We have found that to be absolutely false, and that it's probably going to be closer to 10 to 15% of your processes are actually something you're going to want to be able to move. Now, this is going to be an effort, something you need to consider, but again, a much, much lower effort than maybe you were considering before. Okay, so now, any questions so far? Makes sense so far? Again, not a technical discussion. I'm not a technical person. I'm really trying to give you a business flavor for why it makes sense to move to S4, what kinds of tools we've been putting in place. And the last thing I want to do is really talk about SAP's partnership with Microsoft. Now, it should come as no surprise to anyone, okay, that we've been working with Microsoft for many, many years. They are running our applications, we're running their applications, we are a customer of Azure, Okay, and so you can see here that not only is it a great partnership and a great relationship, they've also got great technology which has been tuned to operate SAP applications. Okay, so they've got large staffs that are actually at our headquarters in Waldorf working with us on this. And one of the things that you can see that reflective in a lot of the different SAP applications that are running on Azure. Now, not all of these are ERP, okay, but it's still a very, very large number and really shows testament to the fact that customers are very, very comfortable moving their SAP applications to Azure. Okay, so the last slide that I want to talk about in terms of our partnership is a partnership that we just announced about 2 weeks ago. So this is relatively new. This is relatively close to off the press. And it's something that we're calling Embrace. Okay, and Embrace is just sort of started out, quite frankly, as an internal project, and it became more public. But what it does is it really solidifies in a much, much more effective way the relationship that SAP and Microsoft now have across the full spectrum, focused on S4, okay? And basically, we looked at what it takes to make the process of moving from from ECC to S4 more effective and more efficient. And so we said the first thing that really should happen is a joint evaluation, okay, of what applications really fit into your environment. What kinds of things, one, do you need today, and what kinds of applications are you going to need as you move forward and evolve? And we put that together into something we call the market-approved journey. Okay, it's again a set of applications and a timeline in terms of when we think you should adopt that. The second piece is a joint reference architecture. Okay, we got a lot of feedback from customers that they come to us, they come to Microsoft, they come to their systems integrator, and in many cases they're getting different stories associated with the technology that should be put in place. Okay, and that leads to a lot of confusion. So what we've done is we've sat down with Microsoft and we've put together the technology from SAP that we believe needs to be put in place to run effectively, and the technology that Microsoft brings to the party in terms of Azure, and we've put that together into this joint reference architecture. So again, it simplifies and lowers the amount of risk associated with you, because now we're coming to you really as almost a single organization, certainly a single team, to be able to talk about what kinds of technologies are going to need to be put in place. The third thing that we've done is Microsoft is now going to OEM a good piece of SAP technology infrastructure. Okay, and so they're working very closely with us to be able to deliver that. So they will deliver that to you. It will be on Microsoft paper, a big piece of this technology. So that's also a very big piece, because the technology that they're taking over is key technology to us on the S4 side to ensure ongoing integration, to ensure ongoing extensivity, so that as you upgrade, as you manage your application, you're using SAP technology to extend it, which for us makes it a lot more simple to keep you managed in a cost-effective kind of way. And then the last thing is we've developed a large set of services, in excess of 100 new services specifically designed to be able to help customers more effectively take advantage of S4 in the Azure environment. So we've brought a lot to the party as a joint team to make this migration, this move from ECC to S4 more effective, more efficient, more cost-effective, lower risk. And our goal here is to incent you to move tomorrow. Okay, this is not a hidden agenda. This is what we want you to do. We want you to move to S4 because we believe that it's in the best interest of you and your business strategy to move. So so I want to point you to a session that we're doing at 5 o'clock today, which will go into a lot more detail on this new partnership that we're calling Embrace. Okay, so please write that down. Please join us there at 5 o'clock to go into a little bit more of a 20-minute discussion on what Embrace is about. And then I see that I'm totally out of time. So if you do nothing else today, what can you do tomorrow? It's about BSR. It's about going back. It's on the web. Okay, easy to find. If you're a current maintenance customer, this analysis is free to you. You can go and take advantage of this as a starting point to be able to say, how am I going to get value out of S/4HANA, specifically in my organization, in my industry? So it's an excellent tool as a starting point, allows you to sit down with your peers and your business management and talk about this value of moving to S4. So with that, I'm out of time. Are there any quick questions that I could answer, or maybe you could come up afterwards? I'd be more than happy to discuss in detail. But again, this is just an introduction. 20 minutes is obviously just glazing the very top of these topics. I would ask you to take a look more deeply into almost everything that I talked about. And again, thank you for your time.